Jia Hao, as we say here in China. Welcome to my newest video. This is only my fourth video, so please be kind in the comments. I just want to let you know I'm the type of person who it takes longer for me to learn how to do something, but once I do learn how to do it, I can usually do it better than most other people. So just keep that in mind when you're making the comments. So anyway, um, there's not a lot of big revelations about the next solo Batman movie in the news, but I just started this channel and this is something I'm very curious about, so I thought I'd talk about it a little bit today. I'm sure a lot of you out there are wondering what's going on with the next solo Batman movie. So this is my understanding. So Ben Affleck was chosen to play Batman, I think 2014, something around there. And the intention was he would have a solo Batman movie fairly soon after that. And came out at some point that he was going to write and direct the solo Batman movie and, of course, star in it. Now, when I first heard that they chose a guy who had played Daredevil more than 10 years earlier to be the new Batman, I didn't think it was a great choice. Still don't think it was a great choice. I mean, he's a great actor, a really good director, but I think they could have chosen someone better. But since they have chosen him, they did choose him. I don't think they should be recasting him. But anyway, so he was going to write and direct the Batman movie. And now, when I heard that, I was actually pretty excited because I think he's a very, very talented director. I think the first movie was Gone, Baby Gone. I can never remember the title, but that was really good. And then he did The Town, which was awesome. And then, of course, Argo, which I believe won the Academy Award for Best Picture. So I was very excited to see a solo Batman movie directed by Ben Affleck. But then at some point, word came out that he wasn't going to direct it. He released a statement saying that he wanted to give the best performance possible for the fans, and he didn't want his performance to be distracted by all the things he had to do as a director. So then it was like he was gonna just star in it. I think also write it, and they were gonna get somebody else to direct it. And then Matt Reeves was chosen, and so Matt Reeves was going to direct Ben Affleck in the next solo Batman movie. It was going to be called The Batman. I think that title was chosen even when Ben Affleck was still attached to direct it. So then Matt Reeves was going to direct it, but Ben Affleck was still going to star in it. And then I think after the Justice League debacle, which was just horrible and lost a ton of money, all the executives over at Warner Brothers started to panic, and word came out that there was a strong possibility that Ben Affleck was either going to quit playing Batman or he was fired from being Batman. He was going to quit and then not going to quit, and then he was going to be fired, and then Henry Cavill was going to be fired. And then there was word that he still wanted to play Batman at least one more time. And then there were all these speculations that Matt Reeves was going to recast him and maybe do a Batman movie that didn't take place in the DC extended universe, which I think would just be a horrible idea. But from what I've heard lately, it will take place in the extended universe, whether or not it has Ben Affleck in it. So my belief is they chose Ben Affleck. He wasn't a great choice, but they may as well stick with it. I think he should continue to play Batman for a while, but I guess he has some other problems going on. And I mean, what I really believe should happen is I think he should direct it and star in it, but who knows? It seems like nobody exactly knows exactly what's going on. But this article came out a couple months ago. It seemed to be suggesting that he might still be going to play Batman in the solo Batman movie. Apparently, he went to Warner Brothers to meet with them, but nobody knows exactly what it was about. You know, let's see. I found this article a few months ago where this guy, Jay Olivia, DC storyboard artist, said that the original Affleck script was the best Batman script I've ever read. Ben had a kick-ass story, and I believe that the audience and fans would have loved it. And I have no trouble believing that. Like I said, Ben Affleck is a very talented director. He's very, very smart. He's so smart he got banned from this casino, the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas for counting cards. And yeah, I have no trouble believing that he wrote a fantastic script or a draft for a great script. And even if he doesn't end up being in the movie, I hope they at least use his draft or his idea. And this is an article that came out most recently, came out just a couple days ago. It says, will Matt Reeves, the Batman, save DC's cinematic universe, or will it usher in the superhero studio's demise? Well, I guess only time will tell. I think it's kind of too soon to tell. But if you go to IMDb, it says that Ben Affleck is still going to play Batman, but it says rumored, but it also hasn't been updated since August. It says here, everything we've heard about Reeves' plan suggests he will take a back-to-basics approach, restoring the furrow-browed superhero to his roots as a sleuthsome Gotham City vigilante. Okay. Well, that sounds good. This has to be a good thing. For the last 3 years, ever since Zack Snyder's ill-fated Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice failed to wow anyone outside of hardcore DC fans, Warner has been trying and failing to convince the world that Ben Affleck was a good idea, poorly managed. It did this by movie sequels and spin-offs. Sorry about that, somebody's messaging me. Spin-offs to rid them of the worst knuckleheaded excesses of Snyder's films. But the truth is that casting Affleck was a terrible idea, yes, carried out terribly, yes, and no amount of shoehorn comedy one-liners was going to save films such as Justice League from being roundly dismissed. It says the temptation must surely be for Reeves to make with the Lazarus Pit and resurrect a new and more workable Batman, preferably played by anyone but Affleck. So, okay, as you know, I don't agree with that. I found this article from about a month ago. It said that James Wan was actually interested in directing a Batman movie, but according to the article, he wanted to do like a horror Batman movie. Now, James Wan is the most talented director to be involved with any DC movie since Richard Donner. So he did a great job with Furious 7, an awesome job with Aquaman. This came out before Aquaman was released in the United States. And Aquaman is about to cross $1 billion, so maybe he will still get to do a Batman movie, but for the time being, it looks like Matt Reeves is still the man behind the camera. But I think it would have been really awesome to see James Wan do it. He, like I said, he's definitely the most talented director in the extended universe, the most talented director to ever do any DC superhero movie since Richard Donner. If you go here, go to Google and Google the Batman, Ben Affleck. This is what I found trying to figure out an answer to the question. So apparently the Batman is going to be going into production November of this year. I think it should have happened a lot sooner, but I guess that gives them some time. I think that suggests, well, I think Warner Brothers is probably kind of hoping Ben Affleck will still play the role. If it's going to be going into production in 10 months and they didn't want Ben Affleck to play the part, you would think that they would have casted someone else by now. I don't know if maybe it's an issue of having to pay Ben Affleck for the movie if they get somebody else and they don't want to do that. But anyway, this is what comes up if you Google the Batman and Ben Affleck. Now this article came out December 24th. It says Ben Affleck Batman solo movie cast, release date, plot, and everything. Now I looked at this article and it suggests that Ben Affleck is going to be playing Batman, but it also talked about things like it was written a couple of years ago because it said that Ben Affleck confirmed he was going to be playing Batman, but it also said he said this while he was promoting his new movie, The Accountant, which came out a couple of years ago. So I don't know how much we can trust this one. Then it says, apparently Matt Reeves is the reason why Ben Affleck's out as Batman. This was October. Warner Brothers reportedly looking for a new Batman actor to replace Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill are no longer Batman and Superman. The Batman solo movie, Everything We Know. It says here, this was back in March though. The Batman solo movie from Matt Reeves and Ben Affleck probably won't go into production until next year. Ezra Miller responds to rumors of Ben Affleck quitting Batman. That was November. October 26th, how DC can save Ben Affleck's Batman. Also, earlier in October, Ben Affleck is not finished, wants at least one more film. I think I remember reading that article. But if he does the next Batman solo movie, I think he should do at least two more. But the main point is DC really needs to get their stuff together. I mean, I just really wish some other more competent studio had control of these great characters. I remember when the first Batman movie came out, the Michael Keaton one, and I remember reading that one of the Warner Brothers executives involved in the film said something like they were actually making a conscious effort to not have it take place in the same universe as Christopher Reeve and that no other superheroes existed in that Batman universe. And they said this like they were proud of it. And just didn't make any sense to me. I thought it was really stupid idea for them to do that. And then they're coming out with all these TV shows from DC superheroes, but none of them take place in the same world. I mean, what can you imagine if Captain America took place in a completely different world than Iron Man or Thor or the Hulk? I mean, how stupid would that have been? Okay, moving on. Next up. Okay, I wasn't even aware that. Well, I knew that there was a new X-Men movie coming out, but I didn't know Jennifer Lawrence was returning as Mystique. I remember reading that her contract was up after the last movie, but apparently they got her to come back. I'd be interested in knowing how much it took to get her back. So a new movie is going to be coming out this year, but apparently it was supposed to be coming out before this year. Now I'm a fan of the X-Men franchise, but the last movie I was not too impressed by, the Apocalypse movie. Even though I stopped reading X-Men comics before that storyline came out, I still, after watching that movie, I felt like that whole story could have been broken up into like at least two, maybe three movies. I think that would have been really good. But putting it into one movie was just doing too much. Probably Days of Future Past could have been at least two movies. It says here that they're reshooting the movie and it's going to cause the budget to go to $200 million. which is probably not a great thing since I think the last X-Men movie to gross over $200 million domestically was The Last Stand. And then it says Dark Phoenix, sometimes still called X-Men Dark Phoenix. Okay. Now, I don't know why they're doing another Dark Phoenix movie so soon. Was originally meant to have premiered in theaters by now. The film was slated to be released on November 2nd, 2018, but the movie was delayed to February 14th, 2019. The reason was due to routine reshoots that the studio wanted to schedule, but none of the necessary cast was available until August or September 2018, which wouldn't leave enough time to complete the visual effects. However, the film was again pushed back, this time to June 7th, again because of visual effects. 2019. This was done pretty much right after the release of the first trailer, so it wasn't a good look for the blockbuster. I didn't even know there was a trailer. So hard to get excited, even though I'm a big fan. Hard to be excited about this upcoming movie. Bryan Singer is not returning to direct. Instead, they got this guy called Simon Kinberg, and this guy has never directed so much as according to his credits on IMDb, he's never directed so much as a TV commercial. Dark Phoenix is his very first directing job, although he has written some pretty good movies. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, The Last Stand, not a great movie, but I don't think it was as bad as people said. Apparently, he also directed Jumper. Sherlock Holmes, was it? I don't know if that's the movie or the. Oh, that's probably, yeah, the Robert Downey one. Didn't see it, but I know it made a good chunk of change. But hard to get excited about this movie. I'm not excited about the cast they chose for the younger X-Men, so. Yeah, I'm predicting this movie will not be very successful. I'd like it to be. I'd love it to be great. I love the Dark Phoenix storyline. Although I will say that came out before I started reading X-Men comics, but I read it and never read the Apocalypse, but I read reprintings of the Dark Phoenix storyline. I think it's one of the greatest stories in comic book history. I think they screwed it up the first time, and I don't have very high hopes that they're going to do any better this time. And they've got this guy who's never directed anything, and the budget's $200 million. Hard to be optimistic. Okay, next up, Craig Brewer, who apparently is some director I've never heard of, will be directing Eddie Murphy in Coming to America 2 for Paramount. Yes, Coming to America, the big blockbuster from 1988, is apparently coming out with a sequel. So, Paramount Pictures is setting Craig Brewer to direct Coming to America 2, finally bringing to the starting gate the sequel to the 1988 blockbuster comedy. Eddie Murphy is poised to reprise his role as Akeem, the pampered African prince who became bored of potential marriage partners in the kingdom too in awe of him, and who traveled to Queens to go undercover and find a woman with a strong will that he could respect. Apparently, this Brewer guy, who I've never heard of, just finished directing Murphy in a movie called Dolomite Is My Name. I don't know anything about that, but apparently it will be released soon. In the sequel, Akeem learns about a long-lost son and must return to America to meet his unlikely heir to the throne of Zamunda. So that sounds a little strange. I don't remember Eddie Murphy having sex with anyone in the first movie, but I guess maybe it happened off screen, but that doesn't really seem to be in his character, that he would have sex with someone that he didn't intend to play his wife, become his wife. So the intention is to bring back the original cast, which includes Arsenio Hall, who played the prince's aide Semi, Sherry Headley, who was courted by the prince when he went undercover as a fast food worker. Well, I just want to say if they can't get her back. I think they definitely should not make the movie. John Amos, who played her father, and James Earl Jones, who played the king. There's no start date, but the hope is that production begins in 2019. After many years of anticipation, okay, I'm thrilled that Coming to America 2, maybe that should say many decades of anticipation. I'm thrilled that Coming to America 2 is officially moving forward. Murphy said in a statement, "We've assembled a great team that will be led by Craig Brewer, who just did an amazing job on Dolomite, and I'm looking forward to bringing all these classic and beloved characters back to the big screen." So I don't know, maybe people were hoping for this movie back in 1990, but it's 2019. I don't know about this. And it seems pretty odd that Eddie Murphy and her name was Lisa, that Lisa would not have had any children. So why does he have to go back to America to get an heir? Seems kind of desperate to me. Hopefully it's good, but I mean, I loved Coming to America. I thought it was a fantastic movie. But they should have made this movie a long time ago. Okay, lastly, as I mentioned earlier, as of January 11th, the domestic total for Aquaman is at $275 million, and it is just $11.5 million away from passing the billion-dollar milestone. Of course, it would be the first movie in the DCEU to accomplish this feat, and only the third movie to ever do it that's based on a DC character, the other two being the last two Batman movies. So that will do it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you soon. 再见.